Hi, welcome back to another artifacts video. So, if we look at the plane, by the way, like this is like the bottom right hand corner of the quadrant, right? So 0, 0, and this goes to whatever your size is. So I think it must be, yeah, 25, 60. Doesn't really matter. But anyway, I wanted to look again at graphs, and this time I want to consider the position graph, right? So we take a look at the graph in position. We will do that. So let's, I guess, to start with, just do a couple of simple keyframes and then we will. All right, so let's do just a. I might just turn on auto keyframe for this one. So yeah, we'll just. What should we go for? A little bit smaller. All right, let's go back to position. So we're going to start it like here, and then just move it around a little bit over here. And we'll go here, and we'll just end it right over here. So as you might imagine, this goes around like that. So basically, the way it works, if we look at the position, you can see we've got this red line and we've also got a green line. A good way to look at this is red. There's like a band called Rednecks, or you can think of regex. Basically, red is X and green is Y. So if you look at the X coordinate, so you can see, for instance, over here, yeah. So which one do we want to go for? So yeah, okay. So we look at the value graph. You can see the X is increasing. So you see the X increases to, then it goes down as it goes left. And it increases again as it goes right, so that makes sense. And then with the Y, of course, because it's constantly in sort of going downwards, it's constantly going to be increasing. We can also look at the speed graph. So here you can see the general speed of it. And you can see if we look at this keyframe, for example, so we might want to turn that into a Bezier keyframe just to get it a bit smoother. I could probably turn that one into a Bezier keyframe, get it a little bit smoother. I did not mean to do that. It keeps on doing that. All right. Right. And so if you wanted to see both, so the interesting thing about this is, right, is that like if you have the value graph, so just to illustrate what I mean, right, say we're on this one, right? So currently the X here is what? The X is 1987, so it's really close to the right-hand side, right? So if I just wanted to go left, you can see that a left movement of the actual object is actually going to result in a vertical decline because this is the X value, right? Okay, so, and if we go to the speed graph, what it will do is, this is showing you the speed, right? So the speed is pretty consistent, as you might expect, right? But look what happens actually if you press easy ease. If you press easy ease, it's always constantly, well, on Beziers, on linears, because I didn't swap those over, it'll always go to 0. That's what it means to easy ease. Let's get rid of the easy ease. Turn that to Bezier. Turn that to Bezier. Let's do easy ease. Well, that should have been, maybe I didn't click it. Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. I was under the, yeah, easy ease should put it down to 0 when you press it. There you go. Yeah, I think maybe I just didn't select it properly. But what you can see then is that the position then okay, so in general, I think it's better, like, let me just put this one down to there. In general, from what I can understand, is that for a lot of these things with easy ease, it's better that the start and end points are very slow like that. But you see, it doesn't look right in the middle. So if there's this button here, which is called influence, I believe. Yeah, influence, right? So if you increase the influence in the middle ones, so you can imagine it a bit like drawing a hill, right? If you're drawing a hill, you would normally start at low points here. So let's have a look. All right, and so remember, right, this means the speed is not going to decrease as much. So it's not going to have those weird, like, just stopping right in the middle of its path. Well, you could do for something like this. You could also rotate it potentially as well, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, the other thing as well I was going to point out is that what you can do is that, I don't know, I still, like I say, I'm still learning about this stuff, but I think if we do show reference graph here, it will actually superimpose the X and Y values on top as well. So that's kind of interesting, right? I don't know. I guess I'm not like knowledgeable enough really to be able to interpret them correctly. So I think it's probably better, especially, and this is probably just advice I would give, just because what I'm doing is to, sorry about that. Yeah, maybe to use them separately. But yeah, you can press, if you do edit, you can actually edit the value as well. You can also, when you're in the regular mode, I think if we go to, we might be able to, I'm just trying to think how we, there's a way also to edit the keyframe. I guess this you just would edit like that. So what we could do is maybe we try to accelerate. We'll accelerate, like the way it looks like is you would want to have like this period be slow, then you have a large period in the middle that's fast, and then you have a slow period. So maybe we could try something like that. So let's go back to the speed, not the speed graph. You always have to make sure it's, if you double click, you select all the points on it, by the way. What happens if you press easy ease here? I don't think this will do much. Oh no, it doesn't. Actually, it's kind of useful. It just smooths out the curve a little bit. All right, I don't think that it didn't make a significant amount of difference though. Okay. Is that actually? So yeah, you can see then it becomes an auto Bezier rather than. I think this is a temporal. Like if you look at that, temporal continuous Bezier, spatial auto Bezier, and that's just auto. Okay. Again, I'm a little bit. I'm still getting the hang of the exact terms. But I don't think this. It doesn't like do anything wrong, bad to it. Though I think these are like more. Okay. Hmm. So I think, right, what you want to do then is you want to look at the speed graph, because that's going to be like, so when we look at the speed graph, we want it to go fast. We want it to go, so we can actually start to, you see you can sort of do the smoothing. And you can sort of change the curve how you want. So it's almost like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to say we want it to really accelerate right at the beginning. I think probably the issue is, right? So that's going to really bump up the acceleration right at the beginning here. Maybe that's not even enough. Let's try even more than that. Yeah, so just for demonstration purposes, maybe this isn't exactly what you would want, but we may as well try something a little bit like, because they're all like independent. So here, so we wanted to bump this acceleration up. I think we need to use this one, right? Yes. So you need to use the succeeding one. And then again, we would do it here, right? So you can see there's going to be a big bump in terms of the acceleration at the beginning after the keyframe. I think that does pretty well. And it's also quite smooth, like in terms of the transition, right? It moves in a very smooth way. I wonder if we could try maybe doing some sort of rotation on it as well, just because I don't know, for some reason I chose this image, this icon. I was choosing various different things. So we could look at the rotation. We want to probably see the position though as well, right? This is where, how do we get position and rotation? There you go. All right. By the way, it's shift, and then you basically know. Obviously, this is P, this is R. You have to press shift. So, maybe we could try something like. I'm going to turn it off here. The keyframe. So here, like maybe we just do like a single we'll do a double rotation. While it's traveling right, we want it to rotate right, and at this point, we want it to have rotated right by two. By two. Okay. And at this point, we want it to have rotated left by 2. And then again, at this point, we want it to have rotated right by 2. Take a look, see how that looks. It might take a little bit of time just to catch up here. One thing I'd like to do is just maybe put the position here slightly back again. That shouldn't affect things too much. What's kind of interesting, right, is you notice that the first one here, it really has a very good acceleration. Go boom. But this one's like a little bit more, it's a little bit less impressive, the other ones. And I wonder why that is. It goes really fast to 115. And then this one's, I mean, that one's less, and then this one's more. We could try actually just maybe, so the way to actually do this is, I'm trying to remember the thing, the shortcut. Is shift and right arrow? No. Trying to remember There's a special shortcut for this one. I think it might be Alt and right arrow. There you go. So if you do Alt and right arrow on the things here, let's have a look. Okay. So again, you can see that we have the linear. So it should say linear, right? Yeah. So we have rotation selected now. So rotation. This is the speed graph for rotation, and then we also have the value graph for the rotation, right? So this is going to, and this is going to oscillate between 0 to 720, right? As you might expect. But you do, of course, have the opportunity. What do we do easy ease on these? You may as well just do easy ease on them, right? And then this value, and then let's just see what's happened here. So that seems to just convert it straight up to a temporal Bezier. I do think that maybe that there is some difference though in the position. These again. You see this? That's more. It's hard to tell if they're all. What are we on? One. So 5 seconds. I don't know why I got 5 seconds. I always wanted to put it into 3 sections. It doesn't go though. 2:30. That's 150. So there should be 50. So what's that? 50, 30, 40, 50. Move that down. And then that's what? So 100 and it's 30. So it'd be 3 and 10. That's about where it is already. I'm just trying to keep track of what type of keyframe I'm dealing with here in terms of the position. We'll probably move this in line. So look at this. It's not bad. It's not. It's close. I think this is something which, with a bit more practice, I could get probably quite a bit better at than this. Let's go back to this speed graph. So again, it looks like the changes that I've made have caused a problem in the speed graph. Yeah, for some reason this got reset and this one is still fine. I'm kind of thinking because it's like it might be better to convert this one back to linear just so I can change the other one. Oh no, you can do it without. I think maybe it's just I'm having an issue with the selection sort of thing. I want it to be a fairly similar thing. So that's not terrible, right? I don't think that would be particularly noticeable. I do like that. I like the way that it's such a smooth movement around the curve. I may, of course, be overcomplicating things by doing it like this. So maybe we could actually make this one. No, we need to do it here, right? I think maybe moving this here, and then maybe just doing a little bit more. We need the width to be. I like what's happening here. Okay. I'm just wondering how I managed to get it to curve in a more sort of broad stroke. Because the thing is, right, that is not hugely different. So how would this look? I like that, right? So we've got the curve through the corner, right? Because the speed is highest through the corner. Okay, I'm really satisfied with that actually. I think that's a good way to finish it. So, thanks for watching.